So we're going to switch gears a little bit now and talk about the different ways that you can actually apply to Yale, specifically with regard to timeline. And so we have an early action process, and then we have a regular decision process. And sort of separately, we are a QuestBridge partner school, so students can apply through the QuestBridge process, which happens to overlap more or less with the early action timeline. So I want to speak very briefly about each of those things, and then our students here can speak to their own experiences going through those cycles. So we are a single choice early action school. The deadline for early action is November 1st, and for students who apply early action, they will hear from us by mid-December about their decision. A little bit about what single choice early action means. The single choice refers to the fact that if you apply to Yale early, you're signaling to us that we are basically your first choice school. So if you apply early action to Yale, you actually are not permitted to apply to any other private university's early program, whether or not it's restrictive, whether or not it's binding. It does not matter. If you apply early to Yale, you cannot apply to any other private university's early program. That being said, because we're early action as opposed to early decision, if you apply EA to Yale and are admitted, you can still apply to other universities through their RD, regular decision programs. Your reply date for us is not until May 1st, and so you can wait all the way up to the last minute to let us know whether you're going to matriculate or not. So that's the difference between EA, which is what we have, and early decision, which is what some of our peer institutions have. So that's how single choice early action works here. We also have the regular decision round, so the deadline for that is January 1st. And if you apply RD, you will hear back from us by the end of March about your admissions decision. Again, the reply date for that, it would be May 1st, so you'd have basically the month of April to let us know. And finally, QuestBridge. So we're a QuestBridge partner school. We are one of 36. QuestBridge is an organization that exists to help match low-income, high-achieving high school students with universities across the country. And we are a partner institution, and so we match with a certain number of QuestBridge scholars every fall around the same timeline as early action, and then we admit other QuestBridge finalists during the spring as well. And we actually have 2 QuestBridge scholars here, so I'm going to let them speak to some of the details of that process. But just I wanted to let you know that we really like partnering with QuestBridge because we find that a lot of students who might otherwise be discouraged from applying to a university like Yale or one of our partner institutions actually get a lot of support through that organization and are able to find a lot of success in our admissions process. So with that being said, let's hear a little bit about QuestBridge first, and then as well as the regular decision process as well.
So when I was applying to QuestBridge, first I had to apply to the separate program from Yale and become a finalist. After a few weeks and I learned that I became a finalist, I put in my application to Yale and a few other partner colleges for QuestBridge. And basically what I really liked about the application and the process was that even though it was a little extra work for the regular college application, I got to put a lot more information about myself that colleges really wouldn't have known. I remember there was a section on like what kind of music you like, and I knew that like there's no way that my admissions officer was going to know that I liked hip hop unless I put it on QuestBridge. And that was, as I mentioned before, a space where I could put another essay about myself. And so when I was applying to Yale and had my QuestBridge application attached to it, that really added extra fodder, I guess, to what my application looked like. I ended up not getting a college match, which is when the partner college says, like, yes, we'll accept you through the QuestBridge process. But my application from QuestBridge was still moved forward and used in the regular decision process as well. So all my work was still used in terms of how they would make a decision on my acceptance. And then through regular decision, I was accepted.
Yeah, so I found out about QuestBridge actually junior year because they have a junior year program called Quest Prep Scholars. And so I applied to that, and that's where they kind of tell you what college match is, and they kind of help you prepare for that. So I think the QuestBridge process started in about early August, and so that's when I really started working on my application materials. So I applied through QuestBridge to their college match program and was accepted as a finalist. However, they have an option to opt out of match, so I actually didn't go through match. because I wasn't quite ready yet to apply to and commit to the colleges that you have to rank. So I applied early, regular decision afterwards to get more time. But QuestBridge was really helpful in terms of the support that they offered, the advice that they gave, and it was a community of people who supported each other as well. So.
Yeah, I was pretty standard. I just applied through regular decision. That's about it. Nothing special. It just kind of happens. I'm normal. But yeah, it just kind of happens. It's cool.
I'm like, you weird kid.
A lot of students will ask about the advantage of applying early action versus regular decision. So I want to clarify that a little bit. If you are going to have a strong application ready to go by November 1st, and Yale is a school that you are very, very interested in, then by all means apply early. You'll know from us earlier whether you've been admitted or not. And so that is an advantage. But it's not an advantage in the sense that we relax our criteria at all for early action. We would only admit a student early if we were confident we would have admitted them regular decision anyway. And so it's not easier necessarily to get into Yale early versus regular decision. In fact, I believe that Jinchen, well, you can speak to your experience applying early versus regular.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I definitely considered when I was looking at the colleges to apply to Yale early because it was one of my top choices. But then I realized that it would have, like as you said, benefited from more time, and I knew that because you guys stated very strongly that there's no advantage to applying early versus regular. So that's why I was like, I thought it'd be fine to apply to regular decision. So
you really want to ask yourself, by November 1st, will you have the strongest application possible? Think about whether your fall semester senior grades would actually add value to your application. Think about whether your teachers will have enough time to write your strong recommendation letters. Think about whether you have the time to actually put a lot of thought, as we mentioned earlier, into your essays and get them revised enough times. If the answer to all those questions is yes, then absolutely early action would be a good process for you, but otherwise there's no disadvantage to waiting until January 1st and applying regular decision.